press record on that one? Alright, go. Hi everyone!
Fucking hell, that was a shit start, wasn't it? Hi everyone!
I didn't wave.
That's what it sounded like.
This was just for the listeners, that
welcome.
introduction.
Hi!
I think last one you were. I'm not saying that. Last one you definitely weren't here.
Wasn't, yeah.
What a substitution for you.
Exactly.
Oh, he was good, him.
He was better when he.
Well,
he was good.
I've actually watched it.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get really used to and keep him.
What, and you're going to do it?
Yes.
Are you? Are you going to keep a name?
No.
What are you going to call it?
Walker and Bestie.
Oh well. Very imaginative, mate. Right, as you can tell, I can't even speak.
Two fat lads.
Everything. Two fat lads. Your podcast is going to be called.
Yep. You've heard it here first.
All right then.
You do sound fat.
You do sound fat, aye.
I don't sound fat. Bestie sounds fat.
The bears sound fat. I don't know how bingo. You two would beat 88.
This is the shit I've got.
I'm sensing it.
That's why I didn't turn up last week.
Every single week, he just gets abused. Right, so this week we've got a special guest. Ed is here.
It's not me.
Not you, no. Ed is here from Leazes Flags.
Hello, Ed.
Hi.
Welcome.
And he's brought us some
Flags.
flags, clearly.
Funnily enough. Be a bit fucking weird if you didn't.
Right, so shall we just talk about Leazes Flags this episode?
I think so.
Why not?
And the future and everything that comes with it.
That's very deep, that.
I know.
For a Thursday
Because I
night.
don't want to talk about the losses that we just... That's the reason.
Let's just paper over them cracks.
We've also got Steve here.
Alright.
He's over there.
You can't see him, but he is.
He's got mumps. That's why he's in the background.
He sounds fat. But just in the face.
Steve sounds like he's got glasses.
Funny, he looks like he has as well. Not white ones.
Where do we go from here?
Oh,
right, Ed's came over. Ed, do you want to explain everything about your link with Newcastle United and how it all started?
Aye. So I've been going to games same as everybody else for forever. Basically, it
feels like it, doesn't it?
Feels like probably 5 lifetimes worth. Certainly the last 10 years do. But
Ed's only 14, by the way.
All them hard seasons.
I've had a really hard life. Seriously.
It was a pod you were at that.
I was down in the mines for the first 2 years. Up the chimneys for the next 2, and then I was allowed to go to school. Like so, I'm allowed out by myself from time to time. But
I wondered what you had on your ankle, like.
Aye, don't talk about that, man. We're nearly at the threshold. Yeah. So I've been lifelong supporter for all of the 14 years that I've been on the planet, and it probably started for me a few years ago in terms of just getting pissed off with the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it's just got, I think, from the tipping point for me was the season we got relegated. So the actual season we won the title, and yeah, all right, there's doom and gloom about relegation, but we kind of needed it anyway at the time, just to clean some of the shit and the cobwebs out. But I thought everybody would be upbeat. We had a great pre-season in terms of buying players, got off to a pretty decent start, stayed in the top 2 pretty much the whole season, yet everyone's quiet as a mouse when we get to match day.
We've talked about the atmosphere a few times, like in the recent podcasts, and I think it's got a similar kind of feel to what you're saying. Like after last season, everybody was like on a high.
Aye.
Things were better, people were enjoying it, and then we've noticed the last few games when it hasn't been so good. There's that element of a bit of poison coming back into the atmosphere and the reactions. And had a couple of games where there's been booing at half time and stuff like that. It just seems that unease is coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, I think probably the 2 most grating things for me are people leaving early and people who boo, and that you see that a lot, especially in the section I'm in. But I can't hear anything that goes on from the singing section. So I'm right up at the Leazes end.
You won't be able to see them, to be fair.
Can't see them because they're under the roof, but you can't hear them. I'm deaf in one ear. That kind of doesn't help, but I've asked my son and he can't hear them either when he's.
To be fair to them, they do stand up and sing right the way through the game.
You can hear them. Don't get us wrong, but
it's all. I think it's all about the acoustics of the stadium and that. Like, there's loads of people saying, that you can't hear them sing, but they do sing.
They're definitely singing.
Game,
you can hear and there's the odd time where it starts kind of moving round when everybody's in a good mood, or the ref's done something annoying or something that gets everyone animated.
Well, it's the best actually, probably when a ref does a bad decision.
What I've noticed is it's probably the fact that the big gap between the strawberry corner and where the singing section's being put in that top corner.
Well, to be fair, because I sit more or less in that bit between kind of where they are, and there is even in the back from me. There's pockets of people in there that singing. It does come across because it's always been the corner that's started. And
that's where the singing section should be, really, the corner.
Well, it was, and a lot of the lads moved out of there into the singing section to try and spread it out as well.
Though, in terms of where are you going to put people with a path of least resistance around. People have been in seats for entire lives, and some of them have got their names put on and all kinds, and they don't want to move. And so I think the logic was where the least amount of season ticket holders are is obviously going to be the first place you gravitated. But I think the plan was that it was going to be infectious and move down and spread round. And some, like I say, some games it does. But you only need 15-20 minutes of the team on the back foot or not looking like they're going to score, and then that tension, you can just fucking feel the tension around the stadium, and then you can see it translating back onto the pitch, man. Everyone just looks nervous all the time. So I'm totally digressing, but that's kind of
Albert Smiling Faces podcast.
That's
just people start talking about
that. I was in with the WarM lads at the beginning, in terms of getting on with the club and that kind of thing, and I came out of there for various reasons, work commitments and all kinds going on. Came into this season pretty optimistic. We've got in the Premier League. All right, we didn't get some great signings, but you'd thought everybody's going to be wanting to crank it up, and it just hasn't. I just haven't seen it happen. Because the guys in the on the level 7, the singing, they were singing. They were brilliant last season, but loads of them have moved, so they're just not as noisy anymore, and it doesn't. Even the block next, you can see people wanting to get involved, but they're on their own, and then there's people next to them going, shut up, sit down, whatever it is. And
I think it does always need, kind of that.
It needs some
organisation to bring like-minded fans together. There is a lot of clubs that you see, not just in England and UK, but throughout the world, particularly in Europe, where you have the like-minded fans that want to join in, have songs, have flags, scarves, all of those kind of things to bring that bit of passion and excitement into it. But I think, like you see, you hit the nail on the head. Some people need to be entertained to get into it, and at times that hasn't really happened. So, I've been guilty of it at times of getting frustrated, and then I'm sitting there quiet.
I think everybody has at some point, but
you sat there quiet.
We've had a load of comments about you shouldn't need a singing section, and you shouldn't need flags, and you shouldn't need this. And I agree. I totally agree with that. But unfortunately, we're not in a place where we don't need those things, and you can't go around the stadium, or you could go around the stadium and say, "Are you happy with the atmosphere?" How many people do you think would honestly, hand on heart, go, "I am happy with the atmosphere"? Not many.
You can also say how many people say, "Oh yeah, I'm not happy with the atmosphere," but how many people are actually putting into that atmosphere?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm sitting there and I sit in the East Stand. The East Stand is the quietest stand in the ground. Everyone knows that. Now, I'm not happy with the atmosphere, but I'd look like a right knob just stood by myself.
There's probably a high percentage of people think like you're thinking that the atmosphere is shit, but I haven't got the balls to
do it.
So there's probably
there's thousands of people like that.
And if all them thousands did stand up and actually I think it'd be alright. But it's just having maybe the bottle.
Well, you know what it is. You go to an away game and look at that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
There's a great kind of contrast. You got 50,000 people in a stadium, and they cannot be noisier than 2,500 people in an away match. Now I know they're a bit more. They're all in the same place, and it's all enclosed, and there's a bit more togetherness. But for me, man, it's just on a grander scale. It's St James's Park. If we could get that, just bottle that in the away games and stick it, just sprinkle it out over everybody, we'll be all right, man.
I think that's is the perfect kind of analogy. There is that you've got that group of people that want to go to see and get involved in it, and it's you know, you got to almost have that mentality carrying into your home games. But I think that's maybe sometime where having singing sections and people together can sometimes dilute that, because you then haven't got the little pockets around and around to spark off those people, you know, next to them, stuff like that.
No, that's well, we've seen that. I've seen that. I moved. I'm up in the top levels because I take the kids, but we moved from the very back row to right next to where the singers are. You know, to try and kind of, but nah, it's not as noisy as it used to be. That's the unfortunate thing there, but. That's why we're here, to try and improve that stuff. So we're not anywhere close to singing sections in the Leazes end at the minute. But the kind of first step for me, I thought, was at least trying to replicate what the Gallowgate Flags guys have done, because the goodwill that they've fostered, and there is, whilst we're still moaning about the atmosphere, there is still a better atmosphere than there has been seasons before that. I think that's undeniable. And 10 years of what we've had over the last 10 years has been.
Is the word you're looking for?
it does grind you down, mentally, emotionally, everything, to the point where it does make it difficult for people, because it's been 10 years of this. You only need 2 weeks to make it a habit. 10 years of habitual no noise.
Break somehow.
I think it was the Liverpool game that got it for me. The most recent couple of months ago now. And the flag display was superb. Singing, actually, for that game was superb. And the team were pretty decent. I know Liverpool weren't exactly firing, but it was a good game.
It was a good game.
And you're looking at the other end, and you can see everybody at the Leazes end looking at the flags going, that looks great. And I thought, you can see everybody wants to do it. So I gave Alex a call at Gallowgate Flags on that Monday morning. And just said, look, have you got any objection if we were to try and get something going in the Leazes? And he was, no, I think it's a great idea. It's got to add to what we've already been doing. And luckily I'd had a contact at the club previously from the OEM days and leveraged that, and within 4 weeks, the club had approved it.
It took off pretty fast, didn't it?
Unbelievably quick. I put one tweet out on the Monday, and we got about 500 likes in just over 24 hours. And the question was, would you like a flag display in the Leazes end? And people just went crazy for it. So there's a huge appetite. We raised $2,500 in 3-4 weeks tops. I mean, that's insane, man.
Yep.
So there's a willingness for that to happen, and that wasn't just people in the Leazes end. Same as Gallowgate's people in the East Stand. It's people from all over the ground.
There's a willingness for fans to put their hands in the pockets, isn't there?
Aye, loads of people in the Gallowgate, because they, be good for those guys to actually see it at the other side as well, instead of it. All the onus is kind of on the Gallowgate end.
Well, that's it. I never get to see it because I'm sat in it.
You still won't get to see it because you'll be behind the flag.
You just pop your head out. That's what we've had very minimal objections to it. You're always going to get one or two who don't want to sit behind a flag, but
it's not as if it's the flag's up there for the old game or anything like that.
You've got to take it down. Like you can't. You're not really taking away from the game.
I remember when me and you, I'm talking to Adam, by the way, anyone watching just looks at him talking, no one over there. When we took the Litteridge flag, and we stood in front of the East Stand, close out the Strawberry Corner, and it's a big flag, and then we held it up on 2 sticks. It was quite high in the sky, probably about 10-15 foot in the air. But as soon as it went up,
how tall are you, like?
I was on a pole, man. It's another pole that Cedric normally hangs on.
I know
that one. And
15 foot in the air.
Why, aye? Easy. But I'm 6 foot.
You wish.
Fucking hell, man. How does he always manage to go off track on something completely different? But as soon as we put it up, this is getting worse. As soon as how do I say this about you thinking of sexual things?
You got wrong.
As soon as you erect it,
as soon as the flag went in the air, people behind it. This was about 15 minutes before kick-off. The players were still on the pitch warming up. I say warming up, they were just pissing about a bit. Having a drill. It's 6 again. As soon as it went up, people were going, no, I can't see. What do you want to see?
What do you want to see?
You want to see them just running around a couple of corners? And to be fair, you can't see through a flag.
You can see right through them. They're not canvas things. They've got to be.
Yeah.
One, so they can wave. Two, that you can actually hold these things up. But now you can see yourself, material's thin as out. If you put it up to daylight, you can see through it, no problem. Like so. But yeah, so we got well established with the club pretty quickly. Did the health and safety, obvious stuff that you've got to kind of check. But
what does that entail? Is it all about materials and that you can use?
They've got to be fireproof. Yeah. But it was going through what we can use into. I mean, Gallowgate Flags. Let me change that, because within literally 5 days of speaking to Alex on the Monday, they'd gone from Gallowgate Flags to war flags. It was within the same week.
I always think war flags are like war, as in like going to war.
But they've done. I mean, to be fair to them, they've took it on to another level now in terms of the creativity around the flags, the merchandising stuff that they're doing, the walks through the city, and that's all. It's all there for one reason. It's just to get everybody turn it into an event. It was when I was a kid. When I was going there, I'd just spend all week looking forward to getting to the game with my mates. And it's a big thing. And now you just kind of turn up and watch it and go.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think you said there, like, even the walking to the ground. I mean, we go out before the games and stuff like that. And there's certain games of the season where you are really excited for it, and you are walking through the streets and everybody's singing and really up for the game and stuff like that. And then that carries on into the stadium.
Definitely.
But then other weeks you just walk, everybody's just walking as if they're going to the bloody funeral or something like that.
You said about the Liverpool game, you said that was the best atmosphere that you'd thought for a while, and I think sometimes when we think we're going to be up against it, against a bigger team,
we step it up.
We think, right, let's turn it on. But then when we're playing West Brom or Palace or whoever it might be, I think a lot of fans' attitudes are, we'll beat these today, and they're turning up expecting to win, which we're not good enough to expect to beat anybody, in my opinion. But it doesn't help the atmosphere. As you say, after 10-15 minutes of Bradman shot a goal, it's really, really negative.
Well, I was listening to the radio the other day, and they had a football player on. Can't remember who it was. He wasn't. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't like top player, but the one about fans leaving early. And do you notice it as a player on the pitch? And do you notice when the fans are getting frustrated, even if it's not being vocalised with boos and shit like that? And absolutely, he said. Now you can see them walking down the terraces.
I would love to ask that question to is Paul Dummett.
Oh, he must feel.
Because when he gets the ball, there's a lot of sections in the crowd that just, even if he hasn't done anything wrong, they just turn against him as soon as he does. As soon as he touches the ball,
it's just a collective sigh of 50,000 people in it.
I'm not his biggest fan. He can do a job. I'm not a biggest fan, but the way some of the fans go on when he touches the ball is absolutely horrendous, and I would love to know on a personal note from him
how it feels.
That must whack his confidence. He would just want rid of the ball as soon as you get it.
It's the same with the Army and this season as well.
Same as Alan. Yosselu must be thinking now, man, crikey, he mustn't want to play him.
It's that. You're not going there with the intention of crippling somebody's confidence, but that's ultimately what the result ends up. You can see it in them, man.
See, if you sigh, fair enough. If you sigh, then there's another 10,000 people sighing at the same time. That's when it starts.
You can see they no longer want the ball, do they? The players that go hiding a bit, they'll just go long ball because they don't want to try and build it up.
Well, look, he started. To be fair, man, his work rate's good. He's not a top 10 striker. We all know that. But in the same breath, man, he's good team player. But that's all he is turning into at the minute, because his confidence is shot, putting it in the back of the net.
I think we've said before, a lot of Newcastle fans say there's a slogan, I keep forgetting it, but it's like
we don't demand
a team that wins. And I think sometimes we say that and we hold flags up that say that, but I actually don't think some of them mean that, because it's
well, that's where some of the deluded fans' comments come from, isn't it? Because we've talked about like the expectations of people, and you've been guilty of it at some points where you go and I expect to be beaten Stoke, I expect to be beaten Burnley.
I'm a funny one because I expect to lose every week. So every week I say, I'll go get beat 2.
Still negativity.
No, I do. But I do get a bit annoyed when we're playing like Burnley and we don't even seem to have an attempt. Or I do think that we've got better players to be able to at least enforce ourselves on the game for at least 20 minutes or 10 minutes of the match. But I am, I hate to say it, I go to nearly every game, home games especially, and I've been away from home many times, and it upsets us to say that. I do think we're going to lose nearly every week. That's
Well,
just how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't go to the game going, "Oh, we're going to get." I don't go to the game thinking we're going to lose, but like I'm always up for going to the match and blah blah blah. But I just think, I don't know. It's maybe a bit negative from us, but I do think we're going to lose more games.
I've literally got to the point of the heights of superstition now. So if in my mind, this is my logic. It's not even logical, but in my mind, if I expect us to lose, we tend to win. If I don't wear me home kit, we tend to win games. So I can't go with me fucking top on in case we lose because I've got it on. I'm watching it on the telly. I
think everybody does.
Got to have it on a certain angle, and while they're playing well, and then I'll move it and they'll play shit. That's because I've moved my ankle. Stop blaming yourself, man.
I used to do all that stuff.
I do like when the turnstiles. I can go in like 2 turnstiles. So if we win, I'll make sure I go in the same one. Like go up the stairs. Oh, which way did I go last week? Oh, I went to the right. Did we win? No, right. So I'll go to the left. And like you
I used to do stuff like that. Derby's. Can remember the Burgundy away kit that OFME Martins.
Yeah.
That kit. I used to wear the socks to that kit, like on match days, like Derby match days, and we were winning derbies. You know, one of the one where we got beat 3-0. I went, well, those fucking socks didn't work. Like, it was my socks' fault. They don't work anymore. I'm not wearing them.
My dad's the same. He's very similar. My mum used to always say, I went to his, we were having a few cans before we went to the match. My dad was like, right, I'm putting my coat on. I'll wear the scarf the last time. My mum says, but you do realise that everyone in Sunderland's probably got the thing that them wear when them win. So it's just the same thing. Yeah. My dad was like, shut up, you bitch.
Don't fucking bring logic. You just call you a bitch.
So I did my dad.
Shut up, you bitch.
Why didn't he say that? But he has a point though, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Like, it
is ridiculous when you think about it logically, but you know, it's what goes through your mind because you just try to have an influence on the game. But
and the players, they'll do the same thing. They'll put socks on in a certain order, and you know, whatever that may be.
Why we're on that subject? Matt Ritchie's shin pads.
Matt Ritchie's shin pads.
No.
Got sausage rolls printed on them.
Sausage rolls on the shin pad on the front. It was on Sky, and that you'll show you. There was Sky like doing like a picture saying like coming up next was our game, and had a picture of Richie's shirt and his shin pads next to his shirt.
Do you reckon Sky realised there was a sausage roll on the shin pad?
On his shin pad, so I didn't get why.
Does anyone know? Has he answered a question as to why he's
kind of?
It'll be an inside joke. You might like sausage rolls.
He might be a Greg's fan.
Exactly. You might.
He was at the talking. He had like a talking in the players last night. The three of them.
Someone
must have mentioned the sausage rolls.
It was meant to be pretty good. That one.
Someone must have mentioned the sausage rolls. If anyone's listening or watching, if you know about the sausage rolls,
I heard Richie was in terms of how he came across and was very apologetic and kind of
non-Scottish.
How shit he's been the last few games.
Well, if you hold your hands up and you get on with it.
There's another one. It doesn't take long to change your game, man. It's all about confidence, football, man.
Even last season he had a different
time
around Christmas, New Year. So I'm just hoping it's a bit earlier.
And after that, he had an unbelievable season.
It was great for the second half of the season.
Him
and Atsu were great after the second half of the seation.
I think he's brilliant, but as I say, last few games, and I think you as fans and supporters, you've got a choice to be critical at times, but our name is we are supporters, and you've got to get behind, and I think that's what you're trying to organise in the Leazes, trying to get everybody behind the team, support, bring that out, and start getting people using the voices and their actions positively rather than
that's exactly what it's about.
People that sit around you, were them like really up for it, like when because obviously you must have been at the match when I'm thinking of doing this. Were them like, man, get on with it?
Loads of people were. It was I sounded a few people out beforehand. I had no idea the response was going to be the way it's been. I mean, we've been running nearly a couple of months, just over a couple of months. I've got one of the things Gallowgate Flags was saying, it was always tough getting volunteers on the day. It's fine to get people waving flags. Everyone wants to do that. It's the stuff you've got to do beforehand. Putting them on the poles, sticking them, pulling them out, putting them in the right places and all that. And when they weren't doing displays, that was typically because they didn't have enough people to help set it up. We've ended up, this last 2 weeks, it's gone crazy. And We've got about 100 strong now, people who want to literally set up, wave, put away. We've got loads of people who are just able to come occasionally, one game a month. People who want to come every game. You know, people who want to set up and do everything every game. I've got people wanting to come at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, 10 o'clock at night on the Friday to make sure it's all done.
So where does it all start from you now? Like preparing for what's going on Saturday?
That's been, I mean, look, the advice I've had from Gallowgate Flags has allowed me to cut through a lot of stress levels, honestly. Just the complexities, it sounds ridiculous. Just get a bit of fabric and stick it on a pole and wave it. That's it, you know, right?
It's the work before it, isn't it?
Aye, it's working out exact sizes and where the seams are going and where you've got to stick when you use bamboo and when you use. It sounds ridiculous, but because when I first spoke to him, I'll get some scaffolding. You know, didn't really give it much thought at this point, like. And he went, yeah, that's going to be all right. The wind catches it. Someone gets the head stoved in. So, obviously, you've got to use fairly lightweight material. But we had to get this. The club give us all of the blocks, all of the sections of seats on a map, and it's all up on a wall, stuck up on a wall. I look like a. You know, one of these stalkers now. Honestly, it looks like I'm trying to solve a murder. And
Leazes murder.
And then I've got like pictures, and then started layering roughly where we kind of want the flags, and then looked at where
you can get the visual of what it's going to look like when you do it.
And then try and marry that up against all the volunteers and where they're sat. And this particular pockets of the Leazes that there's loads of people coming forward in one little pocket. Big pocket in the top left or whatever, would be west corner, and it's a bit like that. So we've had to then go, right, that's great, but actually we can't have them just kind of crunched in. But you've seen the ones that we've been releasing this week. These are the Rafa one and the Bobby Robson ones are absolutely huge flags. They need 3 pole jobs, and the plan was to have. There's one being released in the morning. That'll be the last kind of. And that, when does this get published? This
should be out tonight or tomorrow.
So I'll not tell you what that's going to be.
What's a surprise?
But it's not no one's going to wet themselves. It's
as long as it's not fucking orange.
No, it's not orange, and it's not really that original, but it's still pretty decent. So that one's going to be centerpiece. And then we're going to have Bobby Robson and Rafa either side of that. And then, in terms of what we've got, we want to try and keep a theme. I know you've spent you've been superb, genuinely superb. We've had a lot of love on Twitter.
How we talk about flags.
I'm sorry, man.
This is a flag podcast now, man.
We've had a lot of. I mean, that's the one thing that I've been really pleased with. All of the best known accounts. Certainly, I don't use Facebook, so in Twitter them. All the best and kind of most well known and listened to and watched and read accounts. They're all. Steve's, was it? they're all backing us.
Yeah.
Everybody's right behind it, and we're getting private messages absolutely full of praise, and everybody's the tweets this week have gone.
Some
mental.
of the players have been. I might be wrong here. It was Leazes or someone put on something about. He actually put a video on, didn't he?
That was for the one War Flags did for him. You know, the big old
that
massive
big one.
thing.
That a big Raphael Leazes one, didn't it?
Aye, right, okay. I thought it was for that.
But for this one, this week, we've kind of tried to stick with the anniversary theme, and we're aware that there's going to be a lot of past players there. So what we've gone and
well, the clubs came out and said, was it yesterday? I think it was that they've announced what the plans are for the day. I think that's going to be.
Shall I grab a couple and just display them on the video?
We'll put them
just 2. I'll grab 2
random ones. I heard the fact that everyone has a flag.
Yeah. So that's what the
there's
clubs
one on
came out
every seat. So they're probably about big enough to wave. You know, similar to the ones we got at the Shearer testimonial.
Well, we've talked about that again, trying to help the atmosphere and stuff like that. And you know, in the past we've had where they've were scarves on the seats, the flags, like you say, that I had at the Shearer testimonial, and it's, you know, anything like that where it's something for people to get involved. I'm a bit loath as to say how far we will go with that, because I'd hate to see that we'll get bloody them stupid clappers or bloody trumpets.
I can tell you, I've spoke to them. There's no intention to provide them.
So
none at all.
You know, anything like as we say, that gets people to
infused,
hold and start talking about, you know, building a bit of atmosphere, getting involved can, and by doing this and putting the flags can only build on that and make things better.
Well, this week, probably more than any other weeks, the momentum's been insane. The amount of people flooding in who want to wave flags or want to help set up, and it's just been honestly breathtaking.
Shall we have a look at a couple of them?
Let's have a look.
Aye.
You won't have heard what I said there. Can you
Tino.
can you see that?
So
That's like.
It's the back of Tino's shirt.
Do you want to explain through the design, as in just what you've gone for? Not obviously the player, but
no, well, we've kind of tried to stick to the strip theme.
Okay.
So the majority of flags are based on strips.
And the year that them kind of...
Exactly right. So
the kit that represents that player.
That player. So every player's kind of got the kit that they're iconic in, if you will. And then we've got there's the
that was
bottom
literally
one. I love that's my favourite
my
one.
favourite shirts.
Yeah, it was mine as well.
I think it's going to be a surprise what players on the back of this one, because you try to be a bit original with them as well.
We did well. There's only so many you can get in there, you know, and we were
especially that era when we were so good.
Yeah, we were.
We had such fantastic players. We weren't called the entertainers for nothing.
We were everybody's second favourite team.
Yeah.
The one about this on I was listening to this the other night, and he said, it was. I can't remember what he's called. He's a pundit now. Jermaine.
Genus.
And he was saying exactly that. He was going on about exactly the same thing. So we've kind of stuck to this like key players. Shearer's in there with those ones with the numbers on, and they're pretty big. And then we've gone for literally right back to the McCrackens and all the old players,
historic players and stuff like that.
I'll give you an example here.
The hardest thing, what I would imagine to do now, is get flags done which haven't been done before. That'll be the hardest thing.
There's been loads done. Gallowgate flags have kind of they've took it to there's a really high bar there in terms of. So we wanted to be. It's not necessarily are we competing, because actually we're not. We're kind of trying to do the same thing.
Trying to
complement each other. That's exactly right. But then in the same breath, we don't want to mimic every single flag they've got. There's going to be overlap. You can't get away from that. We've got a Rafa flag, they've got a Rafa flag, but they're different flags.
Yeah.
Your Rafa one looks really.
That was a question that we got sent into the podcast. Is somebody asked, is there any competition or rivalry between kind of both ends, between the Leazes Flags and obviously the Gallowgate end? And historically, we always have had that competition between both ends.
That's good for atmosphere.
Because going back when I was a kid, I was always in the Gallowgate end in the corner or the scoreboard, and always just sing about the Leazes being full of shit. They would be singing it back and giving us
friendly banter
backwards and forwards. It really did help the atmosphere.
If it's positive rivalry, then yeah. If it's about getting better flags or enthusing people to sing more, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would love it, man. If we had a section full on singing at the Leazes and full on in the Gallowgate end. Yeah. I mean, what I'd like utopia for me would be flags on all sides and everybody singing, but we're light years away from that, I suspect. Yeah. So we've kind of got to do it step by step by step. But what we've got with these ones, so we've got loads kind of that size, black and white, pretty universal. But we've gone for, there's players from every age in there. Gascoigne's in there. Literally, there's not many players. Well, there is, because we've had quite a few. But not many of the kind of main
there's lots of good players that are in there. Maybe it's not.
So,
have you got a Billy Askew flag?
No.
Come like Saturday.
Sorry,
when I was talking to you last night, it was. Oh, yes, the afternoon. You're saying your work starts tomorrow for preparation.
Aye.
For a 5:30 kickoff, this is.
Well, the other challenge is the plan was to go in Friday, so we've kind of mapped out. We've literally got people allocated flags.
Yeah.
Know exactly where they're sitting, so we can drop them right on the seats. And that safeguards them getting stolen at the end of the game as well. That was one of the biggest issues for Gallowgate Flag. Stealing off your own, stealing off the people next to you.
Well, I think they had that at the last game, didn't they? One of the new flags went missing.
The food banks one. No, it was the one that they held up.
So I don't know if that's turned back up yet.
And I saw a couple of tweets last season.
Do you know, like, if you nick this, what are you going to do with it?
Where are you going to hang it? It's only going to go in your bedroom because someone's going to help you.
She'd be like, fuck you brought that home for?
You've got to own
I'm
your
just sticking in the bedroom. Like,
and the thing is, you know,
going to what?
You've got to own your sitting room though, so maybe a Rafa flag wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that was expensive. That but it wasn't.
They fold up into nothing. You know, you could fold that up and put it in your back pocket because the material's so light.
You couldn't like go the following week and bring it.
No, exactly. So it's only ever going to be in some lad's window or up on the wall in the bedroom.
It'll be a bag off a balcony.
So kind of trying to safeguard that bit as well. But I'm in tomorrow. I'm going to be on my own, and the only reason being is that the club are putting all the flags on seats tomorrow. It takes a bit of time. 50,000 flags on seats.
Have you seen what these flags look like?
Aye.
Have you?
Yeah. Were you not listening?
No, I mean,
you just told me.
Did you?
You know what would be lovely if people keep bringing them back to games, and we can get that baby steps, getting that going around the ground, because you're never going to get big flags up on the upper levels, and that's, you know, for health and safety. You only need one angry lad to throw a pole off the top, and so there's no chance they're going to get up there. But these little waivers that they're providing, if people bring them back to the games, it's got to be better, man. It's going to put you surely in a better mood, man.
It's got to get the players up for it, coming out to something. I was, you know, when you were about the Selze with his flag, I could be wrong here, but you know when they come out with the mascot and that and blah blah blah, and he was kicking the ball around and he looked up and then he seen it, and even I could see he was like, whoa.
You saw Rafa's face. It's got to have an effect on these guys, man. It's look, when I come down the steps, I'm privileged enough when we get there, we've got to come down the same steps the players do. Somebody's got to do it, like, and the buzz you get, and the stadium's got nobody in there. You know, the pitch is getting sprinkled, so you can only imagine what it's like for them coming out. And
must be.
So Saturdays should be superb.
I think it'll be the best we've had, perhaps maybe since the Shearer testimonial, maybe, because that was still the best I've ever experienced.
For me as well.
Where we sit, like, obviously you're the opposite side of where I sit, but we're in like prime position to see what's happening both ends.
We're quite lucky in a way because we'll get both sides of it. Like,
until I start East Stand flags next season.
Get it going, man. Somebody's got to start it.
But, no, I think it's a fantastic thing you're doing. Like,
it's not that stressful, to be fair. It was in the early days because it was kind of just me.
How many people's buying you now, as in like team wise?
There's about there's a core group of about 50 people,
right?
But we've got about 120, 30 people who've kind of come in and gone, let us know when you need some help. Can we come and help set up? Can we wave a flag, that kind of thing? So that's just absolutely gone through the roof, man. It's been sensational. It makes it easier for me. I can't literally it doesn't feel like, you know, if you look at it at the surface, it doesn't look like there's a lot going on to organise it, but actually there's quite, especially when you've got a full-time job and a life going on as well. So there's loads of people kind of sharing the burden, if you will. So tomorrow it'll be get all the poles set up, get all the flags on the poles, get them all ready, so Saturday when we get there, it's just literally putting them in the seating areas. But we've got a guy, we've got one photographer, he's allowed on, so we're going to be able to get a fair decent amount of footage before the game.
Is that on the pitch?
He's going to be the game's on clearly, but up to the build-up he's going to be allowed to get down. And we had a very sizable donation. I mean, we raised $2,500. Half of that came from Kenneth Shepherd, Freddie's son. Aye. And there was no conditions to that. It was just, I love what you do, and it would be great to see that in the Leazes end. I've seen the Gallowgate, and the Gallowgate end has got everybody like up for it. They've just blazed the trail for us, not just with the fans but with the club. That's why we were able to get this going with the club so quick. There was no pushback from them at all. You know, they want a better atmosphere as well. When you talk to these guys, they all want what we want.
It's in their interests to support that, to get, you know, people behind the team so that you can, you know, hopefully influence what's happening on the pitch. So, you know, why wouldn't they be interested in supporting it?
We've got big things planned. So we've got, in terms of future displays, I mean, the plan is, right, every game might not be the huge flags every game, but every game there'll be flags out for sure. We've got enough people to enable us to do that. But we're in talks with mags in Italy, America, because obviously America is like a continent. It's a continent in its own right. So every area, Dallas, Portland, they're all over, and so we're doing a big display for all the global mags, if you will, big black and white kind of globe, and then we'll have all their flags represented in the Leazes end. We're doing a more focused one on the entertainer era, so we've got a lot of that stuff on for Saturday, but we're doing a very kind of specific one for those guys, and then, well, you know what we're cooking up in the background for the Arsenal game, so we're working towards that as well. And
I can't wait for that Arsenal game.
I mean, I think no one can. I don't think we'll get anyone disagreeing with with what we're looking to do on the Arsenal game. He deserves that, to be fair. And that'll be the prime kind of focus. There'll just be black and white flags flying around that display. But you know, Gallowgate Flags, they give us 50 flags. They sorted a load of flags. There was a fair few we had to get a seamstress on, but there was a good portion that were in excellent condition as well. So they've kind of, you know, they've been helping a lot in terms of flags, in terms of advice, support and encouragement.
It's good to hear, because obviously you always worry about a friendly rivalry. Not to be negative, but I look at maybe they're looking at it like, I don't want you to have a bad
exactly. But
it's lovely to hear that they've been great.
They've been superb, and you know, we're not in a position really to give them any advice. It's only a kind of sharing stuff on social media. That's pretty much all we can do.
I think what people have got to understand is try not to compare the two.
No, exactly.
Because Gallowgate Flags have been around for the full season, and the point that Gallowgate Flags are at now, they're progressing every single tribute, as they put it. So every next display is better than the last, and people coming in the ground looking at Leazes Flags need to understand this is going to be the first display.
We're literally 15 months behind them.
If you go back to Gallowgate Flags' first display, it was basically just black and white flags, from what I remember. And looking at them now, it's progressed to a whole new level.
It's matured into a real high class kind of display.
It's going down that Tifosi kind of route, isn't it?
Well, everyone goes on about Liverpool's Cup end and their flags stay very similar to every single game that they do.
They don't really have a theme though, do they? It's just flags.
What they've done at War Flags, what it is now, they pick a focal point and they stick with it. And obviously that's the way that you're planning on going in the future.
Exactly right. So, you know, there's a lot that would just...
With a massive back catalogue of flags.
What does it say? Plagiarism is the biggest form of compliment, you know, and that's kind of the best way to look at it. So there's no shitty rivalry between us. There's a lot of admiration from our side, to be fair, in terms of what they've managed to achieve. And they've set a high bar, but we're not worrying at this stage about trying to hit that bar at the minute. It's just getting the process right and getting everybody up for doing the displays.
Just learning to walk.
Exactly. We're literally in nappies at the minute. We're not quite an embryo. We've been born, but we are. You know, we're crawling around on all fours at the minute. They're running down the track.
That's what Mark's normally like after the game.
Crawling around on all fours. Depends how long we'll be there. I will be on Saturday.
But Saturday should be superb. You know, you're all on Twitter. You've seen there's a real kind of buzz developing amongst all the mags this week. And if everyone goes in with that positivity and just sticks with it, unless they're 3-0 down after 10 minutes, then you might not be able to.
Then I guess, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, you start off with everything we've got planned. The club's got things planned. You've got things planned. Gallowgate shot. Sorry, Gallowgate Flags. Sorry, or whatever.
Dean, start this again. Because when there are Gallowgate Flags, every single match day, Gallowgate shots. What you got planned for today? Nothing. I'm going to the pub. I'm not doing anything.
I just hope we stay with it. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's about building that atmosphere up for kick-off and then
keeping up with it.
Yeah,
keeping up with it. Then at least as fans, right? If we're getting behind the team, unless the apps. Look, if they start from the first minute and we're singing and we sing the whole game and they still don't do anything, well, that's nothing to do with us. But if we've been knocking and booing and fucking sighing and quiet, it's horrible when the away fans, you're sitting there embarrassed and no one's going to get in there making all the noise. If we can at least do our bit, then you've got, for me, then you've got a right to go, what the fuck are you doing, guys? We've done everything for you. Pick yourselves up.
That's the way I look at it is that we go there with a job to do as fans and supporters. If we don't do our job of spurring the team on and trying to encourage them, then how can you then sit there and slag them up for being poor in their performance and their job?
Look at it. I make it even more basic than that. Think about when you're a kid, and we grow up kids. We never kind of stop that for various parts of your personality. But think when you were at school and your parents came and watched you, or there was more people round the game, more spectators. You raised your level. I know I did. Any time they didn't come very often, but when they did come, my chest was sticking out, and that's kind of the mentality.
Because there was a bloke with his dog standing on the touchline.
We should all go and watch him.
What, play football?
See if he races his game.
Someone take some flags.
There was a bloke and his dog there at night. I was on top of my phone.
This is it. You only need little bits of inspiration, don't you, man? You don't even need to know them. You just need to think. So, and this is what I mean. So, if we can, I don't really moan about players a whole lot, to be fair. Not publicly, anyway. I do to the boy in the car on the way home. He gets the brunt of it, but. In games, if we're positive and we're doing our bit and they don't do their bit, then we've got some. I think you've got some substance to have a go. Not calling names, but constructively have a go, man.
People are like you've just said there, like the Ben will get it on the way home in the car, like that. You've got a 2-hour drive, haven't you?
Aye.
2 hours. You're going to be driving up every weekend to do this.
He doesn't mind it. He just kind of sits there and takes it. But.
He means verbally, he's not giving him a little dig in the ribs.
No, well, I'm driving as well. I do that when I get home. Or kick the dog, one of the two.
Slap the brakes on.
I hadn't took him to it, so there's a perfect example. He's 12. I hadn't took him to any games till the season we got promoted. For the exact reason we're sitting here talking now. I didn't want him to be baptised into St James's Park with a dull atmosphere. Because I've been talking about what it was like when I was growing up, and when I was going, he goes in there and sees that. So I took him. His first season was the promotion season, and we got in November, and I'm finding myself moaning about the atmosphere. I'm apologising to him on the way out. So it wasn't like this. I'm sorry, son. And it's ridiculous, man. So he's loving this. He's
the flag.
He's had all the flags out. That's if you see a little pair of legs on the big flag photos, that's me boy. He was loving hanging them up on the stanchions in the gym and that kind of thing. But and he's learned all the songs. He's been on YouTube, and they grew up with blading races anyway. It's kind of a, it's a rite of passage, if you will. In my house anyway, they've got to know blading races.
Well, my Ben Nolan. He's not named after Kevin Nolan, right? Kind of is, don't know what that is.
It's either going to be Nolan or Shola.
I couldn't have called him Shola.
True story.
Talking about Shola, I've taught him celebrations, so I know him. When you score a goal, what does Shira do?
Oh, Shira's.
Shira's like this. And I get, what does Shola do? He nails the Shola, and now he's running around the sit room like this, doing this.
He did it last weekend.
Did he? Oh. He loves the Shola celebration. Then I don't know where you picked this from. He had his shirt over his head the other day.
And Ravanelli, was he?
Aye, doing Ravanelli, aye. But it's when you get kids and you just seem to like force it on them, don't you? They don't even have an option.
Yeah, they don't. They didn't. They were in Newcastle outfits before they even realised what was going on. I mean, literally out the womb, it's straight into a baby grow.
2 weeks from my brain, 2 weeks ago.
And
So this is what it is.
it's always been that way. You know, I've lived in my neighbours have grown up in South Yorkshire, so you would expect that they gravitate. Nah, no chance of that. And so they're all like through and through Newcastle supporter. Even, you know, they don't speak Geordie, but they want to.
Yeah.
Genuinely, they're all like me. Eldest is want to go to university in Newcastle next year. Son is, when my 7-year-old walks around going, "Way high, man," and all this kind of stuff, and she's learned a load of songs as well.
Yeah.
That's what it's about to me. You know, they're kind of it'd be great to get it all done for when these start growing up and they're bringing their kids, and the atmosphere is just fucking sensational. We see it in other grounds. There's no reason why we can't have it. We've had it.
Yeah,
and the same people are coming to the grounds that were there when.
Yeah.
With maybe there's a few that still don't come, but that'll change when the ownership changes, methinks.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah.
Amanda.
She hasn't rang, she hasn't texted.
Well, that's gone quiet as well, but you know, the amount of people who've asked us for a Stavely flag. And it's like, are you going to do a Stavely flag? I'm not joking.
To be fair, when more Lascar's quiet, and now that's not good news.
Well,
I'm now in my trouble. If more lasses and daughters are now, that's not good.
You know, something's coming.
If I go out in the house, I go, "Yeah, eating."
You know,
walks into the kitchen, it's not good news.
It's gone a bit quiet, that you know, but the amount of people who've asked us get a Stavely flag, I'll tell you what. When
do you know who else you've had?
She'll be a legend when she buys the club, but until then,
if it was a competition between like the most requests you've had for a Amanda Stavely flag or the most requests you've had for an Alan Barnes flag, like what percentage of that? Because I bet there's hundreds that have asked for an Alan Barnes flag.
There is Alan Barnes, Stavely, and today we've been absolute deluge of Kevin Keegan requests.
Right.
Absolute deluge of them, and that's because we put the entertainers flag up, and it obviously it gets the thought process going. But we're doing an entertainers display, and that's kind of where you'll see those in a bit more of a glorious fashion than they are on Saturday, like. So
happy tears then.
Aye, there were. I mean, there were.
Unreal.
And it. You can go around and ask anyone who was your second best team in that era, and it was everybody. It was the other season. It was Leicester for everyone.
Well,
were it for
I
years.
said that at the time. Then you know, it's like that was us. You know, nearly 20 years ago.
And
now,
it feels like people actually have like a loathing for. I mean, there was a lot of that in the Championship, but we know the reasons for that. There's niggles with, but it just feels like fucking hell, Newcastle, man.
Yeah.
That's what
people don't want Newcastle to succeed these days. The tide shifted like
it
quite
doesn't
rapidly.
feel that way sometimes, like. But you know, for us, it's just do all we can, keep pushing on with the flags, coming up with creative stuff, and then ultimately try and foster some kind of singing section at that end, and then we can really start developing it. If you got those two kind of the you know, the visuals and the audio at both ends.
Yeah, like the catalyst of what it can be, hopefully.
And try and get what they've got going on in the Gallowgate, and then just hope that it turns into a contagion.
It's the middle either side there that you've got the problems, really, though, isn't it?
To be fair, though,
won't hold a flag up in his posh area.
To be fair, the Leazes is open compared to Gallowgate. The Gallowgate's
wide open, man.
The Leazes having this display will open it up, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between each side. Obviously, you're always going to get more noise from the Gallowgate because it's condensed area. But as display-wise,
I think it'll look really
it'll
good.
It'll look good.
Because obviously when I sit and look at it, you know it's across the levels and then the top, but it does just seem to just go up nice and smooth
endless
all the way up.
But in the club again, it was kind of where can we put flags? Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want, right within the Leazes, obviously not up on the levels. Anywhere in the Leazes section, you just put them where you want. No, they couldn't have been any more open with us in that regard. So yeah,
Did they give you a restriction on what flags you couldn't put up? Did they give you like rules of like, don't put this type of...
Actually out.
Obviously you're not going to put any swearing on, but I mean, like, was there any players or anything like that, or managers that didn't want you to put
they didn't like the
No, there wasn't. No, not at all. Actually, there was in terms of the ground rules, if you will, they were more around the health and safety aspect rather than the
Oh!
something I said.
Don't.
More than the content of what's going to be on the flags.
Right.
It's a kind of unspoken thing that we can't go, with Andy,
Yeah,
Ashley,
yeah.
Andy. That's not what we're.
But
about.
we talked about that with Gallowgate flags and stuff like that, saying if it's great when there's a bit of positivity and stuff like that, but could it be used negatively, and that kind of thing, would it be influenced?
That's what I need now for these dual purpose flags. Put some howls in the top.
There we are. But it's you've obviously got to be responsible with what you're displaying. Absolutely. And stuff like that, because it is going to get a lot of coverage, both inside, outside the ground with the press and stuff like that.
Because I didn't mean because I actually thought the Gallowgate flags one about we will support you even if you're lied to, and
yes,
I actually thought that was a bit. I thought
risky.
That was on the line. I really thought it was because
it could have been taken as a dig.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. When I didn't understand what it said at the time, but when I read about it, I was like, that's against Ashley and against this scenario. What's going on? So when I meaning likes of ex-managers like Keegan, let's be fair, and the Ashley thing, there was court cases and all of that. Would they say there's no Keegan flags? But obviously you're saying nothing at all. No
Absolutely,
problems,
they've been. I mean, they haven't even said don't put a McLaren flag up, and. We've no intention of that.
We just say don't put a McLaren flag up.
The lowest possible denominator.
Will you look at that camera now and tell them there's not going to be a McLaren flag?
Absolutely no plans for McLaren flags. Right in the eyes, that one. But
shame.
It's always going to be the ones that we all want on there. And again, that was the other thing. That's why we put a vote up. It was, if have a say in the flags, and then at least you can have a more if you don't like what comes out. It's all kind of new to us. I was shitting myself in terms of the quality when they turned up. Actually, they've come out superbly well.
No, they do look fantastic.
I mean, these guys in Poland have been superb.
There's Ultra flags.
Aye.
That's where it's from.
Ultra shop, and that's again just gravitated to the same place the guys at War Flags did.
Figure out what we're normally doing with this flag.
That's it. Aye.
So in terms of prepping, coming right back to the question, it's in there tomorrow afternoon. Get that set up, and then I'll probably be back in 10 o'clock Saturday with me arse like this till every flag's out where they're meant to be. And then just hoping that someone doesn't drop a flag on someone or one of these poles. But they're very lightweight, the poles that we've got, telescopics for the big ones, and fairly sturdy bamboos for the small. Should be absolutely fine. Talking about 15 minutes of flag waving,
the preparation that goes in is crazy, isn't it?
It is, and then it's all a putting away. Everyone wants to wave them.
I
don't necessarily want to hang them. You've seen how quick we can empty St James's Park. It literally.
I always struggle to get out.
It's incredible.
Down them bloody stairs.
I didn't even get out for the second half of the Watford game.
And then next game, obviously Everton game, and then it's just kind of move on from there. And it's all going to be down to the amount of hardcores we can have coming in every time and helping set up. And
you need a strong base, don't you?
If there's you really need 5 to 10 to get a solid amount done in a particular but the more you do, the less time it takes.
So there's still a chance for people to get involved?
Absolutely. We're never going to say no to anyone. The more the merrier, because after this lot there's going to be more flags that we get, and at some point we'll have a fairly hefty collection. And there's going to be times when everything comes out, and there's going to be times when we're very focused, and there's going to be times when we just have the black and whites out, and it's just going to the big ones, the big focus ones. That's going to be much the same as the way we've done it this week. Now, you can't do that every week. Obviously, it's not.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. So we just we'll make sure there's key pivotal, and then the ones in between, it'll just be what we can do on the day. And
so how do people contact you if they want to?
Just Twitter or Facebook. Twitter's probably the easiest medium, to be fair. Facebook, we've partnered up with Newcastle United Times, and they publish all of our news and that kind of stuff, but Twitter's probably the easiest medium to get us. We've got a website. It's an obvious address. All the W's, Leazes Flags, .co.uk. It wasn't really going to be anything else. And you can sign up on there and just leave your details. And then we'll get in touch with you. But this week we must have had 80 or 90 people come in just this week alone volunteering. And they've been able to kind of pick the flags they want as well. And I've been able to have a chat and go, right, here's a selection, which flag do you want to wave? And I think that's quite nice.
Very nice, very good.
Excellent.
Moving on, Ed and everyone buying these flags has donated us 2 flags for Saturday.
I have.
On Saturday,
thankfully one of them's not orange.
One of them's not orange.
Yours is orange.
We'll give you the benefit.
That will not be making it to St. James'
I think we know which one you picked.
We're going to be taking the Tuesday one and yet to decide the next one, but we'll decide this after this.
Take the bottom one if you want.
We're going to people know we're walking from South Shields to St. James' Park to raise awareness, and we'll be pushing 2 shopping trolleys to St. James' Park.
What a stupid idea.
Why
did we volunteer to do this?
I think we're at the point where we might need 3 shopping trolleys, but I'm not pinching
or a
anymore.
support vehicle.
But
it's some walk, that, man.
It's some walk.
So have you got one where the wheel isn't like...
that's what we said.
Oh, that's going back. I'm not pushing that one.
And that's on a flat surface where you're normally pushing it.
It's got to be when we're getting our bloody wonky paving slabs and all like that. Oh.
Just really hit the curbs.
We'll have to lift them up.
What the route we're doing? We've got to go. Do you know where the what's that pub called? Used to be the Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, I know.
Is it still the Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Or is it the
You
Robin
got to
Hood
go down, up.
You go down that
But
back.
then you've got to cross under the underpass to come up across the other side where the car is.
No, the path stays on the right.
Does it stay?
I looked at it today.
Have you got...
We've got some poles.
Oh, you've got...
But then when you get to Whitemare Pool as well,
you got to cross.
going up there.
Oh, it's going to be a tough walk.
The coppers will stop at one point. I'm just looking forward to that part.
100%.
And they come over and go, what are you doing with these?
And where's your receipt for all those?
So if anyone sees 2 flags,
We
didn't steal them. Right? They're being donated. If anyone sees 2 trolleys,
thankfully we've had a bit of help from the local press though to put the story out there with what's actually happening. So
if anyone sees we're wandering around Gateshead, Shields, Newcastle with 2 trolleys and 2 massive flags, that's us.
So
well,
kind of taking
they're going to get waved when you get to the other end anyway.
So as soon as we get to the other end, we're going to pass them back over to
they'll get
these
waved
flags
to the
and
other
they'll
end.
be in the ground.
But again, the Chiodi one was when we did the voting, that was really popular. The Bobby Robson one by a million miles.
Fantastic.
I mean, we categorised them in terms of waivers, big flags, T4. We put it in every section. In every section, it came out on top.
Yeah.
Speaks.
I think it always does.
Yeah.
So Bobby Robson one.
For me, it should.
Say Bobby.
Aye.
He's a legend.
And we've been in touch with the foundation as well. So we're getting a couple of photos for those guys. Get those tagged into tweets and that kind of thing. Should be a good day.
Elsie will be able to put it on a mantelpiece.
Yeah. Be good.
Let's hope we just have a great day and we'll get the result.
And let's hope it's a good game.
I know.
Crucially, let's hope it's a good game.
Let's hope it is.
I think if we give them the best possible start, we've got to assume we're going to have a good outing from the players.
Yeah. Them know it's a big day for us as a club. Fan base.
It always tends to when we have them late afternoon kickoffs on a Saturday, televised as well. It generally does have a
and let's
good
not forget
atmosphere.
we've had a bit longer to have a drink as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, unless you're pushing a trolley, St. James' Park, you haven't.
Well, yeah, we get one of them hats. Hands on the side. And just
well, what I'm going to do, do you know where the baby seat is in the trolley? That's where my cans are going.
That's it. That's all you
Definitely
need to
getting pulled
do.
over by some coppers.
Yeah.
Right, shall we call it a night?
Yeah. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
coming along.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best with it.
Alright, cheers. Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see some decent displays in the future.
You definitely
Absolutely.
will. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone. Love you. You used to say love you. Never say love.